Well, it's that time of year when we all get inundated with mailers and political ads, both on TV and online, which, as we've already touched on, are allowed to stretch the truth just a bit or maybe rip it apart completely. That's where the fact check comes in. Maybe you've seen the ad featuring Speaker of the House Mike Moyle speaking out against Proposition 1, the open primaries and ranked choice voting initiative. It's led to several inquiries about what's true, what's not, and what needs context. Like Sue near BSU's having trouble finding out who is putting the money behind Prop 1. Joe Paris has that answer and breaks down what's what with the Moyle ad.
I'm Speaker Mike Moyle.
The Political Action Committee, Idaho Rising, has a new ad across the airwaves. PAC Chair and Idaho House Speaker Mike Moyle speaking out against Proposition 1. Moyle says Idaho's future is at risk.
From out-of-state dark money trying to rig our elections.
Looking at public campaign finance figures, Moyle is correct about money coming in from out of state. The main group pushing for Prop 1, Idahoans for Open Primaries, has received close to $2 million from groups outside of Idaho. The group Unite America out of Colorado has donated $1 million, Article 4 out of Virginia, $425,000, and Way Backpack out of Wyoming contributed $250,000. So yes, the top three contributors are out of state. Is it dark money? No, not really, since we can track it and find mission statements from the groups. Unite America is working to address partisan primaries, something they see as a problem. Article 4 has a similar mission, advocating for structural reform to partisan primaries for the reasons that Idahoans for Open Primaries cite in their work. Are the out-of-state groups trying to rig elections? No, but they do want to see them run in a new way, like Proposition 1 aims to do. Moyle says that Proposition 1 is a threat to Idaho and that the governor agrees.
That's why Governor Little signed a bill banning it.
That is true. In 2023, Idaho lawmakers passed and Little signed a law prohibiting ranked choice and instant runoff voting in Idaho. But Prop 1, if passed, it would repeal that law. The quote on screen, by the way, from Little, it is also legit. He wrote this in a paragraph in a newsletter back in September.
Prop 1's ranked choice voting is confusing, unfair, and costly.
Something being confusing or unfair is opinion here. Proposition 1 would treat all candidates the same and give each the same opportunity to win in the proposed format. On cost, Idaho would need to invest in new technology because the current election system here cannot run the proposed format. Here is what Secretary of State Phil McGrain says.
We've estimated that it could cost as much as $25 to $40 million. That is an educated estimate based on what we have spent on election equipment in the past. Without really doing a competitive bid, there's no way to know for sure what this would cost our state.
Important to note that those costs would mostly be one-time purchases, but this is up to the voters if a new format is worth the cost or not.
Ranked choice voting eliminates the concept of one person, one vote and undermines our confidence in elections.
It's a good messaging line, but needs some context. In the proposed format, every voter gets one ballot to cast with the same opportunity to rank their preferences of candidates in the general election. If you choose not to rank candidates and instead only want to select one, that is your choice. However you want to phrase it, every voter, though, has the same opportunity. It's up to you if you fundamentally agree or disagree with the format, but it doesn't undermine elections. It just does them in a different way. And coming up tomorrow here on the 208, we're expecting to take a look at the pro Prop 1 ads that are out there. Brian will do a fact check on the other side of the coin.
Okay, so it's money from out of state, a good chunk of it, but not dark money necessarily. What does that mean?
So dark money would be money that there's no way to know where it came from. And so in the context of where it came into the state of Idaho, we know where it came from. Now, a lot of times these PACs or these super PACs or there's hybrid PACs, it is hard to gather exactly where they got all the money. And
Sure.
Then you could see where they did with it. In the context here, though, the thousands of dollars coming from Colorado, for example, I should say $1 million coming from Colorado. We don't know exactly who gave each dollar to the group in Colorado, but we know that the fundamental aspect and the important thing is it did come from this group that is working across the country to try to get things like ranked choice voting passed.
Okay, so tomorrow we're taking a look at the other ad from the other side.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Joe.